how to create an abstract design, something like this, using brush textures. And it all starts from a very basic design like that, just using a standard brush. And I'm using Photoshop CC220, but similar 219, 218, etc. So first thing to do, I'm just going to remove this. So go to History and show you how I start. Over here to the brush tool. Now I'm just using the standard brush, soft round, general brushes. Find that as a default brush and simply apply it using black. I'm just going to go over here, set it to black. I'm using normal, 100%, so nothing unusual. Now I'm not going to have any texture at this point. The texture is later, so I'm just going to show how to use that. Now I can use some of these if I want. Size jitter, modify those, heart's content, but the key thing is just create a very basic brush stroke. Simple brush stroke like that. And now I'm using a pen, so you can see a pen there. Of course you can do similar if you want to use a mouse, you can just, it's not so effective. And that actually isn't completely black, so I'm just going to make sure it's completely black. I could even see a slight red tinge there, so I'm just going to quickly apply a few just abstract designs, something very simple. It doesn't have to be complex, and you can obviously change the size. You don't have to go with 508 if I go down to 309. And obviously if you do that, you're going to create a slightly different design, but I'm just showing you. Now, to make it I could just go with this, but I'm just going to go for filter. Now this document is 1600 by 1600, so I'm just going to quickly go to the other, so filter, other menu, and offset. And offset's really useful, so you can just shift the document by a certain number of pixels. And I'm using half of, so minus 800, 800, and then a wraparound. So you can see this goes. And the reason for this, to make a seamless design, but I don't want this sort of like gap in the document. So just shift it slightly, and it's still a seamless design. So if I save this, define as a pattern, then it will still be seamless. And of course you don't have to have squiggles like that. You can maybe make more sort of like that. And again, you can always vary the size. You don't have to, of course, use the brush that I'm using like this. You could use maybe a thinner brush or different type of brush, a whole range of different brushes, clearly, obviously available. So you can, and you could, of course, the key thing is you could use grey as well. So if you want to just go to say swatches, there's swatches. I had the mouse and the art pen fighting against each other there. So I could go for grey as well. And I could just add a bit in there. And you can just do that. And then of course what you can do, you can always go to offset again, put it back, and then continue. And it will still be seamless. Because I haven't gone over the edge. That's the key thing. So what you can then do is go to, and of course I continue to work with this, go to Edit and Define Pattern. Now just say yes, okay. So that's stored away. Now obviously I'm going to go with a complete fresh document. So again, go to History. Just going to clear that down. And now what I want to do, well, obviously I want to use the brush still. I'm going to set the size of the brush a bit bigger than that. So I'm going to go for about 500, using again the soft round. But this time I'm going to go with brush settings. And if you haven't I've got all these panels available. You can find all the panels in Window. So brush settings, thinking of course you could use it on layers as well. Apply this on layers, perfectly reasonable. So layers there. Swatches, if you want that. Of course history panel, so you can see there. And brushes and there. So brush settings. Well, I've got shape dynamic. Again, you can change that. You don't have to use that. You could use color dynamics. Use that if you want. But the key thing here is texture. So texture. And I've got one that I created earlier. I'm going to select the one that I just created a few seconds ago. So there's the brush. Now what you can do, you can modify the scale. So you can see the design. And this is the great thing about this. It's a really nice preview down here. And you can modify the depth. So you can make it fade away, or maybe you don't want to go too far. You want it about there. And the key thing is for this brightness, so you can put the brightness so you can see some. I just want it to be about middle. You can modify the scale, like I say, contrast, you can tweak that. again about the middle. And I'm using height, so height there, and the depth, have it about 8%. You can, let's say, 8 or 7%. And none of the other settings. I'm not using control, so now apply the brush stroke. And you can see the design applied there. Now it's a seamless design. And you can see, you can just, and of course what you can do, you don't have to have it at 30, you can have it at 31. And you can apply over there. Now of course at the moment I'm using it in grey, but I can see it's red. You can apply it over there. So you can create all kinds of abstract designs. You can go to swatches, maybe green. And of course what you can do, you can apply the red and then you can go over it again with green, but maybe only just add touches there. So just apply it just slightly there. So if you want to do that, you can do that. So it's quite useful. But also, of course, can vary the scale. And you can vary the other settings if you want, of course. Now you can go to black and you can apply that on top as well, or maybe yellow. All from the swatches, that's the easiest way. Of course, you could always go and change the colour there as well, but I think it's just as easy just to simply change it there. And you can apply numerous ones and change the scale, maybe have it big. And if the result doesn't come out particularly great, not in a way that you expect, you can always undo, of course, and then start again and try again, maybe with a slightly different texture, maybe go with the old one, or change the scale. Maybe sometimes you think, you know what, that's not working as well. So at this point, I can always say, history panel, just go to the history panel and undo. So you can get rid of it and then just apply it again over like that. And also what you can do, of course, is you can not only apply it like that, you can also go and apply some effects. So you go to filter menu, maybe stylize and oil paint, but maybe Gaussian blur. So you can just blur it like that and then go over with the brush like that. Again, maybe go for colours this time. Add some colours, or maybe use blending modes as well. Don't have to go with difference. Go for red. And again, you can also go for scale. So you can vary the size and you can add on top like that. And again, if you want, you can always go to Gaussian blur. Change the colour there. Maybe go for pink. Or maybe use darken. Whole range of different designs can be created simply by just modifying the scale as well as the swatches as well as the blending mode. And just going to finish it off there. Well, once you've done that, of course, what you can do, you can always go to image menu and adjustments. You can obviously apply curves, levels. I always sometimes think that the black background works better than with the white background in this case. And again, of course, what you can do, you can go to filters, oil paint, and you can maybe make it slightly smearier design there. And again, image adjustments, maybe vibrance. You can push up the vibrance for the design, and so on and so on. So straight away, just a very simple design created using a very simple pattern. And of course, you can create any number of patterns like this. Very simple patterns, maybe spiral designs, circular designs, sort of splat, star designs, which you can simply add to this. I say, simply just go there to the, obviously at the moment it's got texture in. So if I get rid of texture at this point and then go black, you could just add different shapes there as well to make, again, variety in the other design. And then you of course can go and define that as a pattern again. So there you have it. Very simple design, quickly created using this. And of course you can then use that maybe as a background design, maybe, or maybe an overlay, whatever. Whole maybe a design for wallpaper or loads of different possibilities. Hope you found this tutorial of interest. Please subscribe to Graphicxtras, always adding new tutorials about Photoshop, Illustrator, Painter, Affinity Photo. I always have to think of all the various products, Affinity Designer, Critter, GIMP, and there's probably a few more as well. Please also add some comments. Always appreciate it. What have I done wrong? What have I done right? Sort of things you think you'd like to see, maybe that I could do slightly different. Always please let me know. Also a dislike or like. Thank you much.